I've had a very good question, and that is, and they're all good questions, by the way. This is, how do I navigate a new relationship when I have all this past baggage with me? And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Natasha Williams, and I'm a toxic relationship expert and a personal development coach. So how do you navigate a new relationship with all this past baggage? And the thing is, we are carrying our old past programming with us wherever we go. So just like having an accent, if I decided I'm going to move to America, I'm still going to have a South African accent. It might be a little bit less over time because I'm not exposed to it all the time, but I will still have the accent. And so you will always carry your programming with you unless you consciously and deliberately change the program that you are carrying within you. Now here's the thing, if you've gone from one relationship and you haven't healed it and you haven't changed your old way of responding, and let's say you've had trust issues, maybe the guy cheated on you, and now you're in a relationship where you don't trust this person, whose problem is it? Is it theirs or is it yours? It's not theirs, it's yours. And likewise, if you've gone and found somebody else who's in a rebound, who's gotten into another relationship with you, they're going to bring their past programming with them into the relationship. So my suggestion is, and do what I did, do what I say, is take time out to heal the pains that you experienced in the relationship. Whatever the pain was that you were experiencing is stuff that you need to heal. And healing doesn't mean you go and take medicine for it. Healing means you collapse the emotional charge. The emotional charge is gone. If you don't trust somebody anymore, it's because that person deliberately went out of their way to harm you, but your life is being compromised. You're constantly on edge. You're constantly looking on your phone, trying to check up on him, wondering where he is, looking for signs. And so you're actually going to drive that person away rather than make them feel. And then you're going to need them to keep proving to you that it's not the case. And yes, their actions speak louder than words. If they come home and they come home on time and they say that where they are, and then it's true that that's where they went, and they reassure you and they're supportive, then over time they earn your trust. You don't just get trust out of the blue. You don't just start off trusting somebody. Trust is earned, and there's two types of trust. Now I have discussed it in a previous video. The one is where you just trust blindly, and that is where most empaths land up in a narcissistic relationship. And there's another where you weigh up what a person is saying and you give it over time, but it requires effort. It requires work. It requires you to be consciously aware of when this person is actually pulling through or when they're just saying something. And that's the kind of trust that is more sustainable over time. It's kind of trust that is going to serve you in the long term, but it requires work and it requires effort. So I suggest that you heal yourself before you even get into a relationship. That way you're going to attract somebody, because we are electromagnetic beings. We attract people at whatever frequency we vibrate. So if we're vibrating at a low frequency, maybe we're vibrating in a frequency of shame or guilt or anger or hurt, you're going to attract somebody that's vibrating in a frequency of shame or hurt or anger or guilt. And now you're trying to lean on each other for support. And yes, you have strengths and weaknesses that you can rely on each other, but your underlying emotional foundation is low. So rather lift your own frequency up, heal that, and then you will attract somebody that's at a higher frequency. You'll attract somebody that is in a space where they're able to offer you more. And rather than being with somebody who's going to give you something, be in a situation where you can offer something. So rather than looking for somebody to give you love, see how you can give love, because you don't need it from somebody else. But anyway, let's assume you are now in a relationship. You've already met somebody and you've now found the person, and now you've got this baggage. Your healing continues anyway, whether you're with somebody or not. In fact, what they're going to do is give you the opportunity to heal, because they're offering you emotional charges on a day-to-day basis. So if somebody's coming home late and your trust issue's been triggered, then you've got something to work with. So having somebody in your company is not about them. Remember, it's never ever about them. Anything that has an emotional charge is your emotional charge. It's not theirs. It's something for you to work on. So it gives you real time goals. The problem is if you're working on it and they are not, because you're going to at some point outgrow them. You're going to at some point, you can say, I'm going to be bigger than that. I don't need to. I just want the company. Then you're aware that that's what you're getting. You're not going to get the growth. You're going to just get the company. And that's a conscious, aware choice that you're making. And then it's not on them. You cannot blame them because they didn't do the growth, because you're aware that they weren't doing it in the first place. So it is all about healing. It's about saying, what is it that this person is triggering in me? And maybe if they are saying to you certain things, you're aware of the issues that they need to work on. And maybe you are activating it in them. So then that's also something to look at. It's also something to say, well, what is it that I am projecting out there that they're picking up on? And then I can heal that in me. And for that, I would suggest a method that is called Ho'oponopono. You can look it up online. There's a lot of people that do videos on it. But basically, it's 4 sentences, and you can say them in any order. It's, I love you, thank you, I'm sorry, please forgive me. And whenever you're experiencing something that somebody else is having an issue with you about, then you can say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. Because somewhere in you, there's that trigger that's pushing it into that person. And when you heal it in you, you heal it in them. And there's a whole book, it's called Zero Limits, that was written by, I'll think of his name now, but it's about Dr. Hugh Len, who actually healed an entire psychiatric ward of criminally insane people without seeing them. Just using the Ho'oponopono method, taking out their file and healing whatever the ailment was in them and in himself. And it's statistically shown, and it went to a point that actually closed the psychiatric ward down because there were no more patients. People got better. So if one guy, just one person, can heal criminally insane people, then you can definitely heal the relationship that you're in. If you have any comments, if you have any feedback, please write to me. I can't write to people or speak to people if they don't speak to me. So you need to reach out. I am available. I will answer your questions. I will post a video. It will always be anonymous. I don't mention names. I don't mention people or places. And if you would like me to do a video, I promise you I will do it. I may not get around to it in the same week, but I definitely will do it. And I look forward to hearing from you, and you have an amazing day.